Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. Oh, looks like my stuff has fallen over. Hold on, you guys. Let me see if I can fix this. Hey, so today I have a great discussion for you, actually. It's something that occurred to me how the narcissist has been using the new supply. And this happens in more than just a romantic setting, you guys. It happens in a way that's quite nefarious, and the narcissist uses the new supply to do bad things. And I want to talk about that because I want to talk about the traps of that and what it looks like and how to avoid that. But before we start, welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. And good to see you, Obi-Wan. And who is here? I'm sorry, Jihad, good to see you. I got to change my setting a little bit. Here we go. Welcome, welcome. Obi says, just counting the final days with my narc. Is that clown? Wait, that clown is toast? Well, I hope so. You know what? So very few times. Well, you know what? I'm going to change that tune. Maybe we do overcome the narcissist in this world more than we think. We just don't always see it. Sorry, you guys have to get some water here. All right. Well, welcome, you guys. So glad that you're here today. I have a lot of great things to talk about today. But let's talk about the good, the happy, and the crappy that's happened to us this week. Because we learn from looking back at what we've done this week or what we got into, what happened, how we responded. Was it good? Was it bad? So, and this is how we change our lives step by step, right? So I wanted to say what my happies were. I had forgotten to mention last week that the week before I got to go and visit some family and spend some time with them out in the woods, out camping and stuff. And it was so good. It was great to connect. It was great to be with good people, with encouraging, uplifting people. Got to hang out with some little kids too. That was a lot of fun, hanging out with little kids who are just vibrant and enthusiastic and happy, right? So I realized I need to do that a lot more. That's my happy, what I learned from that. So what we do is whatever was happy in your life that went well, you want to do more of that. You want to include more of that into your life and make it a part of your week or your day. And then my crappy, let me see, I may have to figure out what was my crappy if there was one. Because we don't want to just forget things that went wrong and then forget about it and never learn from it. We want to learn from it and then keep it, put it in our past, but definitely take on what we've learned and implement the good things that we learned from it. So I'm trying to think. Well, my crappy is I've been cursing a lot more, which is terrible, terrible. But yeah, just because of stuff that's going on right now in different cities that are just really frustrating me and upsetting me. And if you guys are, watching as well, I'm sure a lot of things are upsetting you. It doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, you're going to be upset. Um, but here's the deal: how do we approach that? What do we do with that when we're upset? What do we do when we're frustrated with that? Do we curse up a storm like I did? Or do we turn to laughter, turn to other things that give us hope and try to spread hope rather than doom, right? So that's what I did. I went and actually started filling myself with more encouraging things, with people who see a hope and an end, a light at the tunnel, that type of thing, right? And once I started doing that, I started lifting myself out of this pit of despair. I wasn't really in despair, but I was frustrated. And it helped me to laugh more at my frustrations and my, you know, feelings of hopelessness. And it made me feel more hopeful, made me feel more able to be positive with others and more tolerant, really, of other people around me. Because we're getting to the point where everybody's kind of on edge and a little triggery, I guess, if you want to call it that. And you don't want to be that. You don't want to take people's, good intentions in a bad way just because you're in a bad mood, right? So get out of that bad mood, get into a good mood so that when an offense might come your way, you're not going to take it as an offense. You're just going to take it as, okay, that's something I need to handle and I'm going to handle it well. So that was my crappy, which turned into a happy. So I'm going to continue to do that. When I start feeling like I'm getting too critical, too angry, too upset, too frustrated, I'm not going to stay there very long. I mean, these are all normal human feelings, right? And I think that it's good that we have these feelings. We just don't want to get stuck there. That's the thing. So pull yourself out, make it positive, make it productive. And that's what I did. Anyway, you guys. Yeah. Oh, geez. No, I didn't do anything to get myself into jail, though. Obi says, cuss up a storm and laugh while you're sitting in jail. It will help your time pass. Oh, okay. If you end up in jail, I guess. Yeah. John says, hey, by the way, good morning. Hold on, let me see here. I must have missed something. Yeah. Mask of the Thyroid Tears, good to see you. Says new supply can be more than one person. Remember that. Absolutely. And I'm going to get into that, by the way. But Gloria Davis, hello from Ohio. Good to see you. Oh, no. Yep. Obi, take care of that ticket. Pay it. Call the courts. Ask them what you need to do. Yep. Okay. John says that she reached out to me and said she thinks of me all the time. It's more like an update check, asking if I'm seeing someone. That's none of your business now. You lost that privilege a long time ago. See, John, she has been after you. She is coming for you. She's trying to reel you back into a lousy, horrible, just life-sucking, life-draining experience. And you do not want that. Please, block her if you have to. Tell her to stop. Look at her life. See how messed up it is. That's what she's going to bring into your life. She's not going to bring, her whole self, her happy self, her improved person. She's not bringing something good into your life. She's bringing her distraught self, her destroyed self, her paranoias, her all the stuff that's destructive in her life. She's going to bring that into your life, hoping that you will take that on and relieve her of the destruction that keeps around her. So why would you want that, right? So I hope that you block her because she's pouring it on heavy now. So be careful of that. Yep. John says, then she dug up the past saying, it was my fault. We were not together, saying having to marry this guy she's with was not an easy decision. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's a user. That's the deal. You do not need a user in your life. You do not need someone who needs someone all the time. Those are narcissistic users, toxic people who cannot stand on their own 2 feet. Why would you want to bring somebody who's just going to weigh you down? That's what she is. She's absolutely just a big stone that you're going to have to carry around with you wherever you go. It is not worth it. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is why I talk a lot also about taking care of yourself and improving yourself. Because when you want and are ready to start a relationship, a new relationship, you're not going to want to carry this baggage of horrible stuff with you into that relationship. You want to go into a new relationship healed and strong and healthy, right? Because that's what will be beneficial to the other person. You don't go to the other person like, here are all of my problems and you need to help me take care of this. Like, what? Wow, that's really attractive, right? Like, who's going to want to take that on? Anyway, you guys, that's what John's ex seems to be like. She wants to come back to him and have him take care of all of her problems. Like, why is that supposed to be attractive to John? It's not. It's horrible. It's a life sentence is what it is. Yeah, Mask of the Thyroid Tears. We're going to talk about this, by the way, quite a bit. And I think what I have to share with you may help. Mask of the Thyroid here says, because of the complex PTSD, I have to catch myself with catastrophic thinking. I found out this week. Yep, yep. When we catch ourselves, then what do we do with it, right? It's really important to get out of that mindset. Don't stay there. It's okay that you get there. It's okay that you feel that way at times because that's part of being human. You don't want to stuff your feelings and deny that you feel horrible or depleted or sad or angry. To deny and stuff that, it's just going to explode out in another way. And we don't want to do that. We want to actually handle it in a mature, healthy way. And I talk about this, you guys, emotional maturity. A lot of times people grow up and become adults and live their whole life not learning emotional maturity, right? Not learning how to behave in a way that's productive to you and productive to the people around you, even though you're going through hard times. And it is possible. These are the most productive or most successful people, or people who can do that. That's why when you look at successful people, you think, why is life so easy for them? It's not that life is easy for them. It's that they turn their struggles into triumphs. And you're like, okay, I've heard that before. What does that mean? Well, they turn it into triumphs because of what is going on in their mind. How do they see it? How do they approach it? How do they fix what's going on around them? And we are going to talk about that. But first, I do want to talk about the topic today. And that is the narc using the new supply? And you all know, and I know, the answer is yes, absolutely. The narc is using the new supply. Now, the way I want to talk, we know that the narc uses the supply for physical intimacy, for financial gain or stability, for connections they might have to status, to other people that could give them status or visibility, could help their business. But what I really want to talk about today is how the narc is using the new supply to do bad things onto others and to perpetuate their narcissistic uh, need for power, right, and control. What the narc does with the new supply is they use them to attain more flying monkeys. Yes, the narcissist will use the new supply to attract more flying monkeys to do their bidding. And how and why, right? How does that look? How does that happen? What does that look like? Well, here's the deal. The new supply might be a really good person. You and I, we were once new supply. We were good people. We are still good people. So when a narcissist is able to get us onto their team, it could be romantic. It could even be just friendships, by the way, you guys. It could be a business relationship. It could be a coworker. It could be a neighbor. It could be family members. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. But the narcissist will use the new supply, who is a good person, has has a good image. People like them, right? And they are well respected in the community or in the family or uh, in their wherever they may be, right? At work, they may be very well respected because people see the character of the new supply and they're like, oh, good person. Now, once the narcissist fools the new supply into a relationship, and they do, right? They love bomb, they get us in there, or they pay so much attention, or they butter us up with attention, and they just cling around us and are swarming around us all the time. So they just kind of become part of our inner circle. Once that happens, people are going to associate that narcissist with the new supply's good traits. Okay? People are going to look at the narcissist and think, well, if the narcissist is with this really good person, and I know this person's a good person, I've known this person for a long time, I know their character, the new supply that is, then the narcissist must be okay, right? The narcissist must be a good person themselves. Then, if you start believing that, if people start believing that the narcissist is okay because of the person they're with, then they're going to be more open to the narcissist lies, right? The narcissist is going to be able to lie to them, and they're going to say, well, why wouldn't I believe them if my good friend over here, who's their new supply, believes them, right? Why would I not trust them if the new supply is trusting them? And the new supply is sort of like a trap, right? They use the new supply to trap more flying monkeys. And that is really creepy, you guys. So say the new supply is someone who stands up for good, right? Always fights bad, always fights evil, has very high moral standards. Then the other friends of the new supply are going to look at the narcissist and think, well, the new supply wouldn't hang around with somebody who's a terrible person, who has no morals, who's devious, and is ill-meaning, right? They're going to think, and the narcissist is going to start taking over little by little, developing relationships with the people who respect and like and love possibly the new supply. And they're going to think, well, the narcissist, they're going to transfer their good feelings about the new supply onto the narcissist. They're going to, then the narcissist starts controlling. As you know, they're very nefarious. They're going to go in, they're devious. They're going to plant little seeds of doubt about the new supply, but they're going to increase their value, their own value, the narcissist's value in the eyes of the new flying monkeys now. So now the new flying monkeys are going to think, oh, well, the narcissist is a good person. And they don't even remember why they started thinking that. They don't remember that it was the new supply, that they actually are transferring what they feel about the new supply onto the narcissist. Now the narcissist takes on a whole new attachment to these flying monkeys, and the flying monkeys continue to follow the narcissist doing bad things. They may get into really bad business deals with the narcissist, knowing that this is against the law. Because they trust, right? They already developed this trust to the narcissist, who used the new supply to develop this trust. They may get into hurting other people because the narcissist wants them to do their bidding, right? The narcissist convinces them, oh, this person over here was horrible to me, and I have to get back at them and take money back from them, and that's why I got to cheat them or rob them or take it from them because they took this from me. And of course, the new flying monkeys are going to think, wow, yeah, that's true. I'll be there. I'll help you. I'll stand with you. And the flying monkeys, being loyal people and possibly being good people who admired the new supply, are now transferring their admiration to the narcissist and thinking that they're continuing to do good. They're continuing to support what is good. They're supporting a good cause. They're supporting a person who is a victim. They're supporting someone who they think is downtrodden. So they want to be the good person and stand up and be loyal to that narcissist. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it is absolutely crazy. That's why sometimes when you look around, you're like, how is it that the narcissist has so many people, has so many minions, has so many flying monkeys willing to do their bidding, right? And you're just like, how is it that the narcissist is able to do this when maybe if you've seen narcissists from afar and you're not part of the group, you're not part of their inner circle, you can see that the narcissist is a horrid person. And you're like, and their cause is a horrid cause. You can see that. And you're like, well, how in the world are so many people buying into this? It's because, you know how pyramid schemes work, by the way? It's exactly like that. The narcissist finds a few people, 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 people that have a lot of people who trust them. And they tell these people, they convince this few, right, of their cause. Now, those few, new supply, right? And somebody said earlier that, by the way, there can be more than one new supply. And it's not always romantic, you guys. But when it is romantic, it is really so heart-wrenching, awful. The narcissist could have 2 to 3 side supplies, romantic side supplies. And they're convincing each of them that their cause is good, right? That they are here to do good. They're here to help people. They just love people so much. They care about people. And the new supply that they have. They're just being humanitarian towards the other new supply because that new supply needs them. So that's why they're there. That's how they explain it to the other new supply. They're saying that about each of their new supply to all the other new supplies, right? They triangulate, and more than triangulate. Sometimes it's more than two people. They will convince their new supply of their cause, that their cause is good. And then the new supply is going to be like, yeah, I'll be there to support you. And they put up with the cheating because they think, well, you're just trying to help that other person. I get it. This other person is so in love with you and can't let go of you. So you're just trying to help them get over you. That is not what's happening. And they allow the cheating. Now, the rest of us, we're standing from afar and we're looking at this going, how in the world is this happening? How is the narcissist able to manipulate 3 or 4 people in a relationship and each one of them thinks they're getting married to the narcissist? It's because the narcissist lies and is manipulative and is convincing. But first, the narcissist had built a trust, a fake trust, by the way, of course, right? Based on fake things and on lies. The new supply believes the narcissist. Now the new supply also gets their family to buy into it and their friends to buy into it. And sometimes their friends do. Sometimes their friends are like, oh my gosh, yeah, the person you're with is such a great person to care about all their exes and that they want to stay connected to all these exes. When in fact, they're not exes at all. They're current supply. You guys, that's what it looks like when it's romantic. But when it's not romantic and it's a neighborhood thing or it's a social gathering or it's a business setting or even in groups of friends, you'll see the narcissist working and casting their spell on so many people. And you're just like, what, why, how is this happening? It's because the people who are good are convinced that they're continuing to do good by doing the bidding of the narcissist. They've convinced themselves. And it is brainwashing. It is part of Stockholm Syndrome. If you guys have heard from that or of that, there's a story of this woman named Patty Hearst, and I've brought her up before. She was here in the U.S., had, I guess, middle, upper class, I don't know, rich parents, I suppose. And she got kidnapped. And the kidnappers had been robbing banks and brandishing guns and threatening people as they were robbing them. I think they even shot some people. Anyway, they kidnapped Patty Hearst, who was in her early 20s, I suppose. And they convinced her that what they were doing was good and what her parents were bad people. They convinced her that her parents were living off the backs of other people and stealing from them what is, and oh, you guys, it's horrible. Stealing as in, being a bad capitalist or, stealing from them in that way. The kidnappers convinced Patty that what they were doing when they were robbing banks, they were actually doing the stealing, right? They were actually doing the robbing when they were robbing banks and robbing people at gunpoint, terrorizing them, scaring them. That was a good thing, because they're doing it for a good cause. She bought into it. Why did she buy into it? Probably because there was supply within that hierarchy. I don't think the head of the group gathers around him people who have the capacity to care, people who have the capacity to be empathetic, right, and sympathetic. Now, these people interacting with Patty makes her feel like, oh, they're sympathetic to me. They're kind to me. They're bringing me water when I'm thirsty, and they're hugging me when I'm crying because I'm missing my parents. She starts to attach herself to the supply of the narcissist that's running the ring, okay? So the supply convinces and develops a relationship with Patty. Now she's going to transfer how she feels about those people, the wives, by the way, to now the ones running the show, the ones running the robbery, the ones who are planning all of the destruction. She transfers her trust of that supply onto the narcissist, onto the leader. Now then they catch her on camera brandishing, I can't remember, it's AK-15, whatever it was. She was brandishing a rifle or something, and I'm sorry, what am I saying? AR-15. I'm sorry, I don't know my guns, so excuse me about that. She's brandishing some kind of rifle in a bank robbery. And they catch it on camera, and they're like, what the heck? Is this Patty Hearst? Is she helping her kidnappers? Well, guess what? At the end of all this, once they caught the kidnappers and everything, and they actually shot some people, and here she is with them, and you're wondering, how can she not see that when they're shooting innocent people and robbing them, that this is bad? That is how brainwashed people can become. Good people, by the way, can become when they respect somebody and they see that person that they respect admiring somebody else, so they think, oh, well, then I should admire that person too. They start admiring this horrible, evil person. And you're like, how? Why? And then they get moved. They're motivated now to do what that awful, terrible person tells them to do. Because they see the people that they care about, that they built a connection with. They see that person respecting and following the orders of the evil person. So they're going to do the same, thinking that we must be on the good side. This is the good side, right? And that's why when you sit inside of, they call it an echo chamber, and everybody's yelling and everybody, but in agreement, right? And everybody's condemning one target. They convince everybody in that echo chamber that the target is bad and we must overcome this target. Not the store, right? It could be anything else. It could be a person, could be a business. We must attack this target. So it becomes a mob. You start thinking like a mob. You start thinking as one. And you feel like you can't break away from the good mob, because if you break away from that, you'll become one of the bad people. It's a total mind F. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, you guys. So in the end, after they capture the bank robbers, the kidnappers, and they free Patty Hearst, she still, it takes, I don't know if it was years, it took her a long time before she came out of it. And I have to read up on that and see actually what happened with her. But when they captured the bad people, she wanted to stay with them. She still believed them. She couldn't see, like even when she got together with her parents, it took a long time to rebuild and reconnect her with reality. She got stuck in this fantasy, in this fake world that the narcissists had created, and their new supply, not even new, their old supply, their supply. The narcissists and their supply, their minions, their flying monkeys, whatever you want to call them at this point, had created a fake world where what they spouted was actually evil, but they labeled it as good. They labeled it for Patty as being a good person, a champion of truth or a champion of the people. And she believed it. Like, we have to take money away from all these capitalists who use it for evil, and we'll take it and use it for good. And guess what? They didn't use it for good. They used it for themselves. They didn't go out and help orphans. They didn't donate to charities with this money. They used it for themselves so that they didn't have to work. They sat around all day and in their kitchens planning how to get more money from people, how to steal it, how to rob banks, how to rob people. That's what they did with it. It's disgusting. They paid their bills with it, right? Yeah. So you guys, that is what the narcissist does with the new supply. It is far more nefarious than just using them because they can get ahead socially or have status, or they want to make other people jealous of them. They want to have a good looking person on their arm. It's more than that. There are narcissists out there that uses the new supply in order to gain a bigger mob. of people who will follow them, who will do their bidding, who will be outraged for them. Okay, you guys? And it gets very disgusting and ugly. I want you guys to always check yourselves. Like, if you're feeling like, you know what? How come someone tells me this is good, but I know it's bad? Like, hurting somebody is not a good thing. Like, physically hurting somebody is a bad thing. So when this person that I like and I care about and I respect is telling me to physically hurt another person because they deserve it. Like, who decides who deserves it, right? Let's think about that. Who decides that? Start asking yourself some questions to break, to make some holes and see the holes in what the narcissist is saying to you. Don't believe everything that the narcissist is saying, right? Start questioning. Start using your own mind. You don't have to be part of the group, right? Groupthink. You can be an individual, strong and independent and following what's good. Well, you guys, so many of you guys are getting on here, and I want to see what you're saying. So let me take a break here to see. Sorry, I just sometimes stop. Obi says, or what about when they come home with hickeys on their neck but forgot you don't put hickeys on your lady's neck because it looks tacky? What? I don't even understand. Dear beloved, good to see you, says, this is so crazy and I know what you're saying is true. But why is it so hard to stop being focused on the new supply and wondering if this is better, if they are better, if the narcissist is better with them? Yeah, you know, we get stuck with that. And it's hard because it's hard being on the outside. You guys, let's just, talk about that. That's why gangs are popular and are able to continually get new members. They're not popular with everybody, obviously, but you're wondering, like, how do gangs get new members when everybody can see that all they do is destructive? Well, because you become part of the group. You get included. Those who've been on the outside or feel like they've been on the outside are craving to be a part of a group, right? Are craving for acknowledgement and inclusion. That's what the narcissist does. So we get obsessed because we look towards them and it calls to us. It's attractive to us. We desire to be included. And this is sad, but some people will sell their souls to be included. And that's horrible because what happens is it will destroy you. You don't want to be included just because you feel lonely, right? Because you can be included in what's good, which you might not see right now. You may not even know where to go to find the good group. But here you see this horrible, terrible group that you feel like, but they like each other, they include each other, they party together, they go out and do things together, and you want to be a part of it. So a lot of times when you're looking at the new supply, and it may not be a big group, it may just be your narcissist and their new supply, and you see them together and they're enjoying, it looks like, right? They're enjoying their time together. They're a team, they're together, they're partners. And you want to be a part of that. You don't want to be standing alone, and you get obsessed with that. You guys, feeling lonely is a natural feeling, but what you have to do with that feeling is replace it with something good. Don't go chasing after something bad in order to just not be alone. Like somebody has said, I can't remember in one of my videos, I talked about that, where it's way better to be alone than to be in an abusive relationship. And that's what they have, okay? The narcissist can only have abusive relationships. Relationships where it's a contract where they require the new supply to fulfill their side of the contract, but the narcissist doesn't have to. It is going to be physically or emotionally or mentally abusive. And you do not want to be in that just to have somebody. But sadly, the new supply is caught up in it. They're caught up in the lie, and people are convincing them. By the way, the flying monkeys and the fan club that the narcissist already has around them is convincing the new supply that, oh, you're just being paranoid, or they're trying to convince the new supply to stay with the narcissist, right? Oh, but you guys are so good together. You're what the, they won't call him the narcissist, him or her. The narcissist was it, but they'll say, but the narcissist needs you, right? They'll convince the new supply to stick around and stay because the new supply is probably a pretty decent person. Some of the times, right? Some of the times. Um, and then when the new supply does catch on, does start to see like that the narcissist is cheating, that the narcissist is manipulative, that the narcissist is abusive, right? Is angry all the time, is demanding, is critical. They start to see this. But when they bring it up to the narcissist, what they're going to get is the narcissist is going to tell them, you're just being jealous, or you're just being paranoid, you're being manipulative, you're not trusting, and you're delusional. That's what the narcissist does or says to the new supply that keeps them there. So the new supply is complete, that's why they become brainwashed. The same thing happens with Patty Hearst. Same thing happened where they're convincing her that her parents are terrible. And if she should say, but my parents did this, or they do good things for other people, and they'll say, well, it was just all fake. It was fake. What we're doing, that's real. But what your parents did all your life and while you were growing up, that's all fake. It's just total mind blah, F. You know what I mean? So, let me see here. Thank you for that comment. Yeah, Gloria Davis, good to see you. Says, deceitful people would never know how to love. Be a great lover. Better than honesty. Yeah. I think you're responding to when I was talking about, becoming a better person and healing, making better choices, right? Healing yourself so that when you bring yourself into another relationship, you bring good things and strong things and healthy things into that relationship. All the crummy, yucky, unhealthy stuff, you want to get fixed. You want to fix all of that before you get into another relationship, because all you're going to end up doing is continuing the bad stuff. And you're going to be like, how come bad things just keep happening to me in every relationship? Well, it could be because you're carrying those bad behaviors, those bad habits, the unhealed parts of you into each of these relationships. Dear beloved, good to see you. Oh, I'm sorry. I had already read this. Saying, why is it so hard to stop focusing on the new supply? Yeah. Yes. Mask of the Thyroid Tear says they're just taking advantage of human empathy in a sadistic way. Absolutely. Yep. Mario, good to see you, says they have dirt on them. This is true too. Once the narcissist gets close to the new supply, now it becomes blackmail, right? If you leave the narcissist, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, they know so much about me. What if they tell other people? And I've talked about this before, by the way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because here's the deal. Whether they know stuff about you or not, they're going to make up stuff about you anyway. Let's say that they don't know anything that they could incriminate you with or destroy your character with. They're going to lie about it. Once you leave them, they're going to tell other people that you cheated on them, right? Even though they're the ones who cheated. Once you leave them, they're going to tell other people that you lied to them continually, even though you didn't, and they were the one who lied continually. Once you leave, they're going to say, oh yeah, well, you posted inappropriate stuff on the internet, on social media, and then you took it down. That's why nobody can see it right now. They can lie about you all day long. So what does it matter if they have proof, right? What does it matter if they have something on you? Say you cheated in your previous relationship and they start to spread that around. It doesn't matter, because here's the deal. They will lie about it anyway, whether you did it or you didn't do it. So you have to just simply count it as a loss. You have to see like, I can't recuperate this. So I'm just going to count it as a loss. Whoever they speak to, you're going to have to just trust that either that person doesn't believe the narcissist, and will see you for who you are and trust you or forgive you, or they're going to just go towards the narcissist and be attracted more to what's terrible and what's bad in the narcissist and go that way. You don't want that person anyway. You don't want that person in your life. So let it be, right? Oh, yeah. Gloria says, I knew the new supply. I actually tried to help her. I had no idea she was seducing the ex-narc. And here's the deal. The narc's not going to tell you, right? The narc's going to tell you, oh, we're just friends. Even though they are fully aware they're being seduced. By the way, they know that. They know that the new supply is flirting with them and seducing them. They like it. They like the attention. But they're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you like, oh, we were just talking because, you know, the new supply, they're not going to say, call it them the new supply. This other person is having a really hard time and I'm just trying to help them and they just want my advice. Oh my gosh, I had heard that before. Oh, yeah. I had heard that before from a narcissist who was playing all these different women, would convince them that he was just helping these other women, right? Just helping them because they have some legal issues. Just helping them because they have some financial issues, because this narcissist, you know, is giving advice, right? Getting them in contact with people who could help them. And they may actually do some of that. But the main goal, the main focus for the narcissist is getting into the pants of that other supply. You guys, it was total crap. Oh my gosh, this whole thing had blown up so bad for this person. Like I said, I mentioned this person before. He had, I can't remember how many, I don't even know all the women, but I had met at least three of them. At least three of them. And all of them were convinced he was going to marry them. All of them. And I know that he had others too that he would brag about, like, you know, hanging out with waitresses and strippers and such who wanted his number. I'm like, okay, so what are you telling me? You're telling me that you have like 5 to 10 women on the side and you're just being helpful to each of these women? Okay. But sadly, the women that he was involved with truly believed him. Actually believed that he was helping these other women. What a philanthropist, right? What a great person he is. Oh, you guys, it is sad. Well, here's the deal, you guys. There is a way out. There is a way out of this type of thinking, and I want to share this with you. Yesterday, I was with a group of friends who, one of them was talking about their daughter, who is in a situation where she's divorced. You know, she's pretty young. I think she's in her mid-20s. And she's divorced after, I think, maybe 4 years of marriage. So she feels really bad about that, all right? It hurts her heart. It makes her feel insecure, right? She doesn't have very high self-esteem because she went through this divorce, and she's young. Actually, I have another friend who is in, I want to say, probably in her 50s now. But we met when she was in her 30s, I want to say. Yeah, I think we had met when she was in her 30s. And she had just gotten off of, not just, but she was still reeling from a divorce when she was 25. So getting divorced when you're young is not like, oh, it's a breeze and we don't care and we just move on. A lot of times it affects your self-esteem, right? And then a label too. You feel like, oh, now I feel like this label is on me. And you're carrying this label around. At least I know these two women were carrying this label around of divorced or divorcee, right? And it's even harder if you're a single mom. Now I'm a single mom or a single parent, or I have children with a woman and I'm not married to her. You carry this label around and you feel oppressed by it. I want to tell you guys, you don't have to carry any labels around. You do not have to put any labels on yourself. You walk in freedom. You walk as if there is no label on you. It doesn't matter what happened in your past. It doesn't matter what people know about your past. It doesn't matter even if it's family who's been there and watched you go through all the mistakes and bad choices you've made. Don't take on any labels. Walk freely, because it's up to you. It is absolutely up to you what labels you're willing to hold on to, what labels you're willing to carry. Now, what other people decide of you, what other people think of you, that's up to them. Let them do what they're going to do. You cannot control what they think and how they feel, even about you. All right? Now, you don't want someone who's going to carry a label over you for the rest of your life. You don't want them in your life, right? And you may have to put up with them if they're part of your family, okay, and you see them around now and again. You may have to put up with them if you're in the office and they're one of your coworkers, but you do not have to carry that label. You walk around as if you don't have that label. That's how you live. That is entirely up to you. And let me explain this to you. So my friend's daughter, who's in her mid-20s, just, had gotten divorced, and she got into a bad relationship and then out of it and then went back to it again, right? And this is after the divorce. This is with a boyfriend. So now she feels even worse. And she's in a situation financially where she's overextended herself. She can't afford where she is. And she's not in like some big luxurious place, but she's made some bad financial decisions. She feels terrible. She feels beaten down. She feels hopeless. And she's crying to her mom and dad. And she's like, I don't like where I am. I don't like who I am. And I don't like feeling the way I'm feeling. And you know what her mom said to her? And I'm so proud of my friend. I love this woman. She says to her daughter, the past is the past. Leave it in the past. You have to move forward. You have to start making decisions for your future. You don't have to keep dragging the past along with you. It doesn't have to be part of your present, and it doesn't have to be a part of your future. Oh, those words spoke volumes to her daughter, and her daughter felt a huge weight lifted off of her. I want to share that with you because here's the deal. The choices okay, hold on, you guys. I had written this down because it occurred to me like I need to share this with you guys, so I'm going to share it with you. The choices you make now will either be based in reality. Oh, I think I'm missing a page, darn. Okay, will either be based on reality or virtual reality. And what I mean by that is the virtual reality is what you think. It's not what is actually in front of you, right? You might think you're a terrible person. You might think and label yourself, I'm a divorced person. I'm a single parent. I'm a whatever. I'm a liar because I've lied in the past. I'm an addict because I've been addicted to drugs in the past. I've done this, so this is who I am. And you label yourself. That's the virtual reality. You will continue to live out that virtual reality, live out that label as long as you cling to it. Or you can start looking around you and seeing, oh, wait a minute. Even though I'm divorced, I still have a life. Even though I had been addicted to drugs, I still have a life ahead of me. Even though I've hurt people in the past, I don't hurt them now. I'm not going out and trying to hurt anybody now. What is your reality now? Now, if your reality is that you are still cheating, you're still addicted to drugs, you have got to get control of that, right? You will not like where you are now. And if you don't like where you are now, change it, right? Make choices based on reality, not virtual reality. If you are still addicted to something, go and get help. Get rid of all that you're addicted to in your house so it's not there or tempting you anymore. Stop visiting places or going places where you know what you're addicted to will be there. All right? You need to start making choices in the present. It doesn't matter what you did last year or last month or last week. It matters what you are doing today. So today, if you are making choices that are hurting you and you don't like to stay where you are, start making better choices. All right, you guys? Here's the other thing. The world around you and the people around you could cause your vision of them, your perspective of them, could cause you to stay either in reality or virtual reality. Now, if you're surrounding yourself with flying monkeys, with a fan club like the narcissist does, that keeps their fantasy world, their virtual reality alive, they're going to continue to make decisions that are going to be destructive towards them, because their decisions are not going to be building on or constructing anything good and positive. It's only going to be possibly building on sand, building on something that's fake, and it will fall apart. Or it could also be that they're destroying things because they believe in the virtual reality that's in front of them. The people that's around them that's continually espousing and spouting all the junk and lies and fake stuff, right? And they believe it, and they're going to respond to it, but you're going to respond in a way that's not going to be constructive. It's going to be destructive. It's going to tear down your life. Okay, you guys. So what do you need to do? You need to stay connected to reality. If people you're listening to do not seem to be connected to reality, disconnect yourself from them. Disconnect yourself. If they are being contradictory about what they're in their life, I mean, watch their life. If their life is total crap, by the way, do not listen to them. Oh my gosh, I was talking to my husband the other day, and I just burst out laughing because I was like, you know what's so amazing to me is when narcissists whose lives are crap feel like they need to give advice to people. It's just insanity to me. It's total insanity that people whose lives are total crap love to give advice because it makes them feel valued, right? It makes them feel like they have something to contribute. But here's the deal. Holy cow, if they're not telling you, don't do what I did, or don't do what I'm doing, pretty much any other advice is bad. Like, that's the only advice you should take from them, is like, don't do what I did and don't do what I'm doing. That's the only advice you should take from people whose lives are crap. When they try to tell you, now, this is how you get your life on track, and then you're looking at them going, but your life isn't on track. It doesn't seem to be working for you. I don't think I'm going to be listening to this. So you guys, stay connected to reality. Disconnect from people who are not connected to reality. Okay, watch positive and motivational videos and read positive literature. This is what you have to do. You have to start filling yourself with what is positive and what is good. Because if you keep filling yourself with the negative, if you keep filling yourself with criticalness and hate and convincing yourself of contradictory, hypocritical stuff, which is what narcissists do, you're going to be stuck. You're going to stay where you are. Now, I understand, like, people say, well, sometimes I have to look at bad stuff like the news because I want to educate myself. I want to see what's really going on. And educating yourself is a good thing. But filling your mind with pain and reliving it in virtual reality will keep you down and destroy your present and future. Did you get that? Filling your mind with pain and reliving it in virtual reality will keep you down and destroy your present and future. Have you guys ever gone to a movie and in the movie you watch something? And let me tell you, by the way, I watched, or books, books that I've read and movies I've watched. Even, what was that called? What is that Numbers movie where the black women were at NASA? Miracle. I can't remember. Why can't I remember? It'll come to me later. But it's the movie about these women who are incredible mathematicians. They were just so super talented. And because of their race, they were being ignored. And because of their sex. They're women and they're black. So, and especially because they're women, actually, at that time. Or in the movie. I don't know. It was portrayed a few different ways. After watching that movie, man, was I mad. Man, was I frustrated and angry at how these women were treated and at the people who treated them badly, who disregarded them, who oppressed them and kept them down and mocked them. Oh boy, was I mad. I was like, what? Here's the deal. Yes, it happened. Yes, it was part of the past. They overcame it. That was what the movie was about, that they overcame this adversity. And not only that, they had people who supported them. They had people who came alongside them and believed in them regardless, right, of what the culture was doing or culture believed. They went against the grain of the culture and saw these women as people, as intelligent, as productive, as honorable, good people. Oh my gosh, it just filled me with so much hope. Filled me with you read the end credits, and one of these women got inducted into some Hall of Fame or NASA, I can't remember, but she was highly admired and respected and given that respect. It ended well. It ended well. But while watching that movie, and even after watching that movie, I kind of got stuck in this virtual reality. I got stuck in the past. I got stuck in a place where I was angry. I was to the point hating the people who treated them badly. And, if I carry that feeling, those feelings with me into my current reality, if I walked out of the theater, the next white person I saw, I slapped. I mean, what the heck, right? I would feel like, what did I do? You guys, we cannot get stuck in this virtual reality. Is the past real? Yes, absolutely. Did the past happen? Yes. Are we educating ourselves about what happened in the past? Yes, and that's a good thing. I want to tell you, that's a good thing because we don't want to repeat the past. We want to know, man, I never want to behave like that. I never want to look at a person and mock them because of the way they look. I don't want to exclude them or discredit them because of their culture. I don't want to do this because of their sex. Okay? That is good. That's how you educate yourself. Now, don't carry your disgust for the people who treated them that way in the past now into the future and into the present. You don't carry that into this present and start treating people who look like those people who treated them badly. Now you're going to treat these people who had nothing to do with it. You're going to treat them badly. You're going to start punching them. You're going to start tripping them. You're going to start kicking them. Why? Why would you do that? That is not based on reality. It's based in virtual reality. When you're in a movie and whatever's playing in your head becomes your reality. Now it's a virtual reality, but it's your reality. Sadly, other people cannot see what's playing in your head. They're not living in your virtual reality. They're actually grounded in the real world. They're grounded in what is happening right now. If it's raining, they see that it's raining. In your mind, it's not raining because you're stuck playing this movie on that sunny day when this person got treated really badly. You're stuck there. And then you bring that angry feeling with you into the current situation where you are currently living. And you start treating people badly and blaming and yelling and getting mad. What the heck? Don't do that. That is total crazy town, you guys. That is the crazy town we sometimes are subjected to. When people around you don't understand why you're behaving or reacting a certain way, right? It's because you're living in this virtual reality. And you might have seen people yourself, right, doing this. You may have seen people reacting in a way, getting triggered, but they're not there anymore. You're like, why are they behaving that way? That's part of PTSD, by the way. You keep yourself in this PTSD. Some people, it's a trigger and they haven't learned yet how to untrigger. But some people make choices to stay triggered, to stay in this state of PTSD. I'm not saying you guys are. I'm saying that I think there are some people who do that because they relive the pain. They reiterate the horror, the abuse, the trauma that they went through. They live it over and over and over again in their heads, and it becomes their virtual reality that they respond to in this current period in their life, in their present. And I want you guys to stop and think, okay, how do I ground myself into this present? And this is why we read and watch positive and motivational videos and literature. Make sure you get grounded in what is good. Did bad things happen to us? Absolutely. Do we have to live there for the rest of our life? Absolutely not. Don't live there, and don't drag those feelings into your current relationships. That's how you destroy good relationships. That's how you're destroying your connections with people who love you now, who want to be there for you now. And you're pulling the past into the present. And when they tell you, leave the past in the past, they're not trying to be dismissive. They're not trying to tell you what you went through doesn't matter. They're trying to pull you out. They're trying to pull you out of the pit, okay? Yes, by the way, there are times where you need to visit that pain, where you need to go back and look at that trauma. I have a great video. It's called Real Tools for Healing. Please look for that. I think it's a picture of a pig swimming, probably in the Bahamas or something, with, is it a bird that's sitting on his back? I think it's a bird that's sitting on his back catching a ride. So it's a pretty picture of this clear blue water and a pig swimming in it. The video is called Real Tools for Healing. Watch that, because this is what you need to do. And if you have to watch it multiple times, watch it multiple times until you get it. I give you very specific steps on how to heal. Things that absolutely work. And right now, I'm just giving you a little bit of it, which is what's going on in your mind is going to affect what's going on in your reality, in the actual world around you. All right, you guys. Let me see. There are a few other things I did want to say. Like, if you don't like where you are mentally or physically, then change the choices you've been making that keep you there. If you don't like where you are mentally and physically, change the choices you've been making that keep you there. And that's why I've also mentioned before, institute some healthy habits. Like, I make my bed every morning now. I used to not to for, oh my gosh, decades. I did not make my bed in the morning. I just didn't see the point of it. I saw it as a waste of time. But I started doing that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my bed. What the heck? And I make it sometimes not quite right away when I wake up because I'm busy and I have to get going. But I come back an hour or two later and I make the bed. Or I come back later on in the evening and I make the bed. I don't make it just right before I go to sleep. I make it when I am home. And it has restored structure. It has restored something that's a habit, a good habit for me. I think there was an admiral that gave a speech on this. It's on YouTube, and I think it had gone viral. An admiral says, do this every day and change your life, right? Make your bed. That's what he says. I'm like, whoa. I didn't watch the whole video, but I bet it's really good. I would encourage you guys to watch it. If you don't currently make your bed, maybe it'll inspire you to do this. So start doing things, implementing good choices, even though they don't look like they have anything to do with your relationships, right? You're like, well, all my relationships are crap right now. What do I do with this? I'm going to go make my bed. How's that going to help my relationships? No, what you're doing is you're starting on a trend of good decisions. All right? Start making good decisions. If you cannot yet make good decisions on the things that are causing you pain, start making good decisions on the things that seem innocuous, that seem like they don't really matter, like making your bed. For me, drinking water was another thing. I used to feel dizzy when I'd stand up. I used to get headaches, not a lot of headaches, but not migraines, but I would get headaches. I used to have this dry cough I couldn't get rid of. It would come every summer, and it would last for a good 4 months. I'm like, what the heck? When I started drinking a cup of water every morning I wake up and there's a cup of water next to me. In fact, I keep a jug of water to refill my cup. So at night, I have a cup of water, or I fuel up. I'm trying not to fuel up right before I go to bed because, you got to get up like 15 times in the middle of the night, which is no fun. But while I'm reading a book or watching TV or something like that, I'll drink my water. Then in the morning, first thing I do is I drink a cup of water, pretty much like almost right before I even get out of bed. Physically, it has changed me. Physically, I'm hydrated. I don't have that dry cough anymore. I don't suffer from that. I don't have headaches. like regular headaches anymore. I don't get dizzy anymore when I stand up. You see how making one good choice affects different aspects of your life. All right. And because I'm not getting headaches anymore, guess what? I'm not grouchy. I'm not, I'm more motivated to go and do things. I have more energy now. I'm not laying down trying to get rid of the headache. I have more time in my day. Instead of nursing a headache, I'm doing productive things. You see how one thing that just seems like, how is this even connected to the trauma I'm going through right now? It is. Start making good choices. So start filling yourself with good things. I want to share with you, there is a Bible verse, I think it's in Proverbs, that says, as a man thinketh, so will he be. And then Ralph Waldo Emerson also says, you become what you think about all day long. So whatever is in your head, whatever virtual reality that you're bringing in and setting up in your real life, that's not good. Whatever you're thinking about, that's what you're going to respond to. If you're living and reliving a movie that's playing inside of your head, and a movie that's bringing up all kinds of horrible feelings, anger, resentment, pain, trauma, if it's bringing this up, disgust, guess what? When somebody comes into your life, you're going to be bringing those emotions into your interaction with them. Don't live inside of this movie. Live in reality instead. Live in the real world instead. See people who are in front of you, who are in your life. See them for who they really are. Like appreciate them. And if they are admirable, admire them. But appreciate them. Enjoy your time with them. Be present. That is such a huge thing that so many people cannot do because we're so reliant on social media that we get carried away. We get pulled into virtual reality to escape, right? That's why we watch shows or TV or movies, because we're escaping what's our current reality. Or we're also educating ourselves. So we might be filling our minds with other people who are stuck in their virtual reality. They're playing a movie over and over of some trauma that happened, decades ago or centuries ago. Maybe it happened to their ancestors. And they're replaying this movie over and over and over in their head. Did it happen? Absolutely, it did happen. Is this part of the past? Absolutely, it is part of the past. Do you have to relive it right now in your current present? No. You only relive it if you're keeping it playing over and over again in your head. This is why sometimes, it's such a long road for people who've been traumatized, who've been injured, to break out of it and live a happy, good life. You feel, and this is what I don't like about some psychiatrists or therapists who want you to carry your past with you for the rest of your life. They want you to remind you continually that you lived through this horrible time in your life, and that you had suffered, and that you had been abused and taken advantage of, and you were powerless, and you were a victim, and it was done unto you. You had no choice. They're not pulling you into the current situation. Like right now, you have a choice. You are no longer locked away in that cage, but they will keep you caged in your mind. Break away from therapists that are doing that to you. Do not stay there. They will not help you. I'm going to tell you that right now. Well, you guys, I do want to leave you with this, but let me check first. There's one more thing I want to leave you with, but let me check what you guys have been saying. Yeah. Oh, Oasis, just trust me. It's hard to get over, but once you learn their pattern, it makes sense, and you learn to avoid it so you don't end up miserable again. Yeah, going back. Oh, thank you. That's the name of the movie. No More Narcs. Thank you. It says Hidden Figures. It was such a good movie. I really enjoyed it. It's so, I loved it. But you come out of it hating men. Okay? You come out of it like, all men are horrible. And guess what? They are not, by the way. I didn't want to take that, you know, I was watching it with a bunch of friends and a bunch of women, and I didn't want to take that feeling home and start being angry at my husband for being a man. By the way, oh, your sex, you know, your sex is terrible. I could have, but I refused to because he had nothing to do with it. He's a good man. And there are many, many good men out there. So many that I know who are just, oh my gosh. I just think they're awesome, awesome people. And for me to watch that movie and then just hate all men, it's ridiculous. That's carrying and projecting virtual reality onto real people, which is not a good thing. So thank you for telling me about the, or giving me the name of the movie, Hidden Figures. So true. Gloria says, oh, that's good. Says, I'm not jealous. I'm deeply hurt. I gave so much of myself, honestly, physically, emotionally, financially. Yes, exactly. And we have, oh my gosh. And this is why it does hurt. And that's why the pain is so deep with narcissists, especially if you've been in it romantically with a narcissist. You know, it goes beyond a business contract. It goes beyond just a partnership, right? It goes into your future. This is the person who is supposed to be with you to the end of your life or end of their life, right? You were supposed to have gotten married and built a future together. So you're mourning the pain. You're mourning the loss. You're in pain because you're mourning the loss of this future you thought you were going to have. It is painful. And you're right. You know, you can get stuck watching the new supply, watching the narcissist in their new life, and that's why you have to disconnect from that. First of all, because it's a lie. It's an image. Because it's the same image that they had with you, right? If it was fake with you, it's fake with the other people too. If they were able to convince you that it was real, they're able to convince these other people who are in their life now, the new supply, that it's real. It's the same thing, same story, repeated over and over again. They're stuck. They are stuck where they are. But you are not. You are not stuck there. You have been freed. You're in pain right now, and that's normal. But we have all been there, and sometimes some of us are still revisiting that pain, and that's okay. It's okay to revisit that pain because you want to clean it out. You want to address it. You want to figure out what in there is causing the pain. Is it that I am, oh, why can't I think of the word? That I'm ashamed, right? Is it because I'm embarrassed about it? That's a label, by the way. That's a label that holds you back. You do not need to be ashamed. You do not need to be embarrassed. You are a good person and you have a plan for your life, and God has a plan for your life, and you move forward. You move forward. You do not let the past shackle you to shame. Sorry, I kind of get into that because, oh, I am a warrior against shame. Yeah. Obi says, this is what they're good for. It's like the Matrix. You got to experience it in order to believe such a place exists. Isn't that crazy? It's true. That virtual reality, that's what the total Matrix is about, right? It keeps people stuck in a virtual reality, and they live out their whole life responding and living in virtual reality, not in reality. And that's why it feels weird. It feels like things are repeating themselves. It feels like I'm not somehow, this is somehow incongruent with how my body feels. Like, yeah. Yes, Mario, I love that. If you're thinking destructive thoughts like vengeance, you have to physically create positive things. Yes, Mario, I agree with that. I mean, start doing something positive. Start doing a new sport, right? I love kayaking. I love bicycling. I recently bought some bicycles, or I guess last summer, some friends of mine helped my husband and me pick out some bicycles. We bought some bicycles. We love doing that. Just start doing something positive in your life that you love. I also love working with people. Well, this is why I do this channel, and this is I've thought about stopping. I've thought about, it takes time in my week. It takes time, but I love helping people. So this is my way of helping. Do what you love. Do what feeds your soul. Do something positive. Do something constructive. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I've had an injury that makes me hold grudges, and it took me 14 years to learn how to cope with this type of abuse. Obi-Wan was saying that. And it says, these channels helped me. Exactly. And this is why I do this. This is why I keep doing this. But I want to give you guys hope because, listen, you are not stuck. You are not where the narcissist is. You are able to move forward. The narcissist doesn't move forward. They just don't. They just walk around inside of this corral. They seem like they're moving, right? They're moving, but they're moving in circles. You just haven't possibly, maybe you haven't seen them at the top of their circle yet. It's sort of like a Ferris wheel. Sometimes they're up high and then they come down and then they're low and then they're back up high. And you think, oh, they're moving upwards, right? They're moving forward. But no, they're just moving inside of this Ferris wheel because they cannot get off. You, however, have gotten off. Yeah. Gloria says, yes, how do you stop the movie in your head? Mario calls them flashbacks. Absolutely. I hope I answered that earlier, which is you start filling your mind with positive things. You snap yourself out of it. Somebody was telling me the other day, I'm trying to remember, that they caught themselves, right? They caught themselves thinking a certain way. And this is what I started Happy Crappy Hour with. I was telling you how I've been like cursing up a storm because I get so frustrated at what I'm seeing and of how people are behaving so badly and violently and hatefully. It just tears me up. But I don't want to stay there, right? So this movie in my head, even though it happens, a new thing happens each day. A new thing happens each. It does seem like each day, doesn't it? That's horrible. Sometimes I have to just disconnect myself from that so I don't keep seeing it, and then renew my mind with something good. And for me, renewing my mind has to do with being around Christ-centered friends and also positive friends and people who are looking towards the future. Disconnecting myself from what's negative and a bad movie that could be playing over and over again in my head. Part of doing that is also filling my head with good things. So I started watching some positive things. Last week, I think it was last week, yeah, I posted a video in the comment section. So go there, go to the last video I made and go into the comment section. I posted a video, a link to it, and it has to do with positivity. Go there. And it absolutely has to do with what's in your head. Like, I think they actually did talk about that. As a man thinketh, so he is. So it helps you. What they give you in that video will help you break out of the movie that's replaying in your head and the flashback. Pretty soon, it won't be a flashback anymore. Pretty soon, it'll just be like a preview. You'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that happened. I remember that preview of that movie, of that incident or that experience or that section of my life. I remember that, but it'll play as if it was a preview rather than the whole movie conjuring up all the awful feelings. It'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I'm so thankful that I'm not there anymore. That's how you will start to think of it. Yes. And this is what I like, Opie. You and I, we know. Laughing about what has happened to us is healing. It really is. Laughter. Break that movie by watching something funny. You guys, I had listed some TV shows that I enjoyed watching that were just funny. I remember Friends was funny. I don't know. I didn't watch that recently, but watch a comedy. That will break you out of the trauma movie that keeps replaying in your head, or at least it gives you a break from it, right? And then when it comes back in, it's going to be a few different tactics. You have to have them ready to break you out of the movie, because you can't be getting onto Netflix or whatever, Hulu or whatever, and start watching videos when you're at work, right? When you start feeling this way, you just snap yourself out of it and start thinking about what's currently happening. Start thinking about what you want to do tonight for dinner. Start focusing on something else. You have to make that switch. Yeah, Lawless says, I hate that they have chosen the dark side. Yep. No more narcissist. As a man thinketh, so he will be. Yep. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Gloria, there you go. Says, I love puppies and kittens. And that was part of my happy this morning, by the way. I got to snuggle with my 2 little dogs. I love them. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just rolling on the ground, letting them walk on me and snuggle me. And, I just love it. That's how you break yourself out of trauma, a trauma movie that's playing in your head. You have to physically choose, mentally choose, okay? Make better choices. You guys, I am so glad that you joined me today. I hope you got something out of this. We were talking about, is the narc using the new supply? And absolutely, the narc is using the new supply. He or she has gotten the new supply stuck inside of a virtual reality. That's where the new supply exists now, inside of a virtual reality. It doesn't feel right to them. And like Obi was saying earlier, I saw a comment about red pill and blue pill. It's in the Matrix, you guys. A red pill is what brings you into reality. The blue pill keeps you in your virtual reality. And you're given the choice. Which one will you choose? To stay in the virtual reality, or will you take the red pill and come into what's real? And some people are like, I just want to go back into virtual reality where things were good and the relationship was happy and we were happy with each other. You guys, it didn't exist. It didn't exist, and it doesn't last. That's the other thing. It doesn't last. Well, take the red pill. Absolutely take the red pill. Oh yeah, Impractical Jokers is my daily laugh. Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I've watched them too. They are hilarious. Okay, cringy, also very cringy at times, but they're hilarious. That's what you have to do. Watch some silly, funny things. And that brings you, by the way, back to reality. When you're able to laugh again. When you're able to see like, oh, okay, the world isn't ending. Okay, there is still good in this world. And it snaps you out of that trauma. Yep. Mario says, just change the thought process. Go do another project. Stop the project you're doing if you are working off a list of projects for the day. Shift to another project on the list, or eat or go for a walk. Absolutely. I love it. Love it. Nomo Narc says, yeah, what is it called? Impractical Jokers? Yeah, they're a little crude. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Miss Breezy, good to see you. Yeah. Says, I'm sick of feeling sad. Yeah, thus, Miss Breezy, watch some comedy today. If you have time now, after this happy crappy hour, open something that's funny and start watching that. You'll see how your sadness melts away. You will see. Oh, one of the other channels I often recommend is what is it called? This is a jokes channel from Provo. Why can't I think of it? Oh, it really has slipped my mind. Pureflix would probably be good. I'm thinking about subscribing to that, by the way, because I want to see good things. I'm tired of hearing nasty, horrible things all the time. I want to watch things that give me hope. So Pureflix is another thing I'm considering. If you're a Christian, I really highly recommend watching The Chosen. That was so good. They're working on the second season. The first season was incredible. The first episode, at first you're like, yeah, like any other Jesus movie or Jesus film I've seen, okay. But then you really start loving the characters, the way they portrayed them. It's just beautiful. I'm still trying to think of, Dry Bar Comedy. Thank you. Couldn't think of it. Dry Bar Comedy, you guys. Pull that up on YouTube. It is so hilarious. So many different kinds of comedians, but they all use clean language. Some of them use a lot of filthy language when they're not on Dry Bar. But for Dry Bar, they use good language, clean language, which is good. So you guys, I want to share this with you before we leave. And I don't mean to offend if you're not Christian, but I want to share this with you. It's in the Bible. It's in Philippians 4:8. And it says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Think about such things. Whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy. Think about such things. And I want to leave you guys with that. Many blessings to you guys. Oh, Obi says, how do you get on Dry Bar? Just from YouTube. It's just type in Dry Bar Comedy or just Dry Bar and it'll bring you up to their channel. So that's what it's called, Dry Bar. So subscribe to it. I subscribe to it. If you want to see all the channels I subscribe to, go into my home page here and on my channel. And I think you can see like subscriptions, right? And you'll see like all the channels I subscribe to. Do that. Like if you don't know where to start, if you're like in a pit, you're in a place where you're just like, well, where do I go? Where do I find something good and positive? Go there. I also have videos that I upload to Healing. I think it's called, my collection is called Healing Videos or something like that. Growing and Healing. And those are videos from other people that have helped me a lot and I think would be very helpful for others. So I put them in there. So go to that. Well, you guys, I am so glad that we got this time together and I hope that you leave today with a future, with expectations of goodness in your life to come. All right, you guys, blessings to you. And I want to leave you with that. Blessings, blessings, blessings. I hope to see you next week and have a great week.